Hello and welcome from Paralelni Polis, the Institute of Crypto Anarchy. We've just had BTCPrague, and in BTCPrague we did a workshop where we created an LNbits extension within about 30 minutes. So we're using a template-based extension and then building from there, which made building a lot easier. And then you could take that extension, submit it to Vetted, and other people can then access your extension when they first install LNbits. Another feature we have in LNbits is paid extensions, which I think is really big. And if you could potentially make an extension in a couple of hours and then submit it to Vetted, and then also charge people for using it, maybe 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 or 1,000 sats. Every time someone installs it, they'll have to pay those sats in order to pull the release from your repository. So we're going to cover that as well. The extension we're going to be building is a magic 8-ball, and the idea is that you'll pay an LNURL pay, and then it will return like yes, no, maybe, it is foretold, whatever 8-balls say. But you could also use it for paid Satoshi quotes, for example. So you could print the QR code out, stick it in a bar, someone pays it, and then they'll just get a random Satoshi quote. So we're just going to dive straight in and get this thing built. If you go to LNbits/my-extension on GitHub, you'll find the template extension we're going to be using to build our extension. As this isn't vetted, we're going to install it directly from the repo. So you have to go to the manifest.json, then click on raw, then you get this raw JSON here, which we need to pull into our install. So as an admin, go to server, then go to server again. I've actually already done this here, so I'm going to save it so I can show you how it works. Okay, so you'll add it down the bottom here, press enter, and then save. So now, not only will it be pulling from the vetted extension manifest, it will also pull from just this extensions manifest. If we go to extensions, we should see now we have a new option to install my extension. So if I go to all, there we go. And then I can install it. And I'll quickly whiz through some of the functionality in this extension as to why it's useful to build from. We can do everything you can do in a normal extension. So most extensions share the same kind of workflow. They have a back-end page where you add records to some database and you have a table. And then, so we'll call this test and then connect to, usually we can connect to a wallet when we make one of those records to send payments from or send payments out from. And then this has a LNURL withdraw and LN pay built into the extension, so we can set the amount we can allow people to send or receive. Now, again, very usual, very typical for an extension to have records laid out this way. We have a button here, so we can press this, we get a QR code, and we have the LNURL pay. If I click on this one, we get the LNURL withdraw, and then if I put in an amount here, and then press a little plus sign, this will go and generate an invoice from that wallet. We have a public page which we can share. So even if your LNbits were locked down and you restricted access to just you, public pages are always available for people. Usually they have like an ID, so you have to share the link. No one's going to stumble across it. But like the point of sale, the jukebox, the Copilot, what else? Offline shop. The LNURL withdraw. Most extensions have a front-end page for sharing. This is where our 8-ball is going to exist, the LNURL, so you can scan it and then pay it, and it will give you a random word back. But you can also access it from this QR code here. So we're going to work into this extension, chop out all the bits we don't want, keep the bits we do want, and add a few little extra bits. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the My Extension repo, and then click on fork. Fork it to your own account. Some description. Now, I warn you, it was a great conference, but I'm absolutely brain dead. So this is a real struggle trying to make this tutorial, but bear with me. There might be a few more ums and ahs than usual. So I forked the extension. And I'm actually going to clone this extension now, locally, start working into it, because there's a few things which you need to kind of update before you make a release which you can install into your LNbits. Usually it's like the database stuff. how we make the database. So let's go on that. Where's Get Cracking? Here it is. So I'm going to go to clone. Now, I am a pretty novice developer. What's great about LNbits is, even people like me can build extensions. So for real developers out there, you'll just have to forgive my goofy development workflow. But I do like a UI when it comes to using GitHub. But obviously, there's plenty of choices out there in which the way in which you interact with Git. So I'm just going to click on github.com, and I'm going to search 8ball. There's my newly forked repo. Going to clone it. And then, then what am I going to do? Already I forgot what I'm going to do. Okay, so now I'm going to, in VS Code, I'm going to open up the project folder. So for me, where am I? It's in projects, and then 8ball, going to open that up. And I'm going to talk through some of these different files and what they do. Let's go from the top, shall we? Let's go from the top. So we have a folder for pictures and stuff, and then we have a folder for your front-end pages, and then we have the Python files for the back-end stuff, for the server-side stuff. Now, LNbits uses Python in the back-end, uses a framework called FastAPI, which is good for building APIs. And then in the front end, we're using Vue.js, but we're using a framework called Quasar, which is a very useful framework for giving you a nice UI and very easy to work with as well. If you go to quasar.dev, then in there's resources for all the different components and things you might want to pull into your. So if you go to layout and grid, and we go to, I don't know, where should we go to? Page, layout page. Then it will tell you about how you can put together your Quasar front end. So we'll probably end up using this at some point in this tutorial, so I'll keep this open. Where was I? So yeah, let's start from the top. So we have a initialization file here. I don't think we need to actually change anything. Oh, yes, we do. It's actually, we're going to just do the first thing we always do when you're cloning another extension and building your own is just a good old-fashioned word replace. So I'm going to replace my extension with 8ball. Yep. Now I've made sure to have case sensitive here enabled, because we'll see here there's also some uppercase or camel case variables. So 8ball. You replace all of them. Yep, there we are. So already done a whole bunch of work. So if you're looking through this initializing file, there's not really much which needs to be changed. We do have a debug note coming out here, message coming out here, which we could probably just change, or now let's just get rid of it. It's pointless. Let's get rid of that. Yep, all this is fine. There's a git ignore, so this is for our PyCache. You can just leave that as it is. Config.json. This is, so it's not actually really used yet, but we have a PR for core, for LNbits core, which we're going to be merging soon, which is when you go into the extensions page, each of the extensions will have a more button. You can open it up and it'll give you a little description, some pictures, maybe a video or something showing what the extension does. Because people were like, well, we don't really know what we're installing before we install it, and that's kind of weird. So yes, we've added that, and we've added this config page to have the images, and then also the YouTube videos if it's a YouTube link, which you're putting up there. And you can also give props to all the people who've worked on the extension in the contributor section here. So for now, it's just me who's worked on this extension. LNbits hasn't worked on it, and I haven't yet had any feedback from the community, so I'm just going to leave that out there. The CRUD, oh look, it didn't change it there. Why didn't it change it there? That's concerning. We didn't. Did we not just do a word replace? I'm pretty sure we did. It may be some caching on VS Code here, because I've already run through this once. So let's do that word replace again. Oh no, did I not spell my extension properly or something? No, I did. That's weird. Yeah, I think it was some caching stuff, so I'll have to just do this bit again. and 8-ball. No, my extension. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? My brain. 8-ball. Guess what we're going to be replacing it with. Yeah, I think there's some caching going on by VS Code, because I already tried to do this video once before and failed miserably because I'm so tired. But let's try again. Okay, so we're going to replace all that. Right, now, okay, the config's fine. 8-ball, that's more like a minimal extension to build on. A magic 8-ball extension. Yep, that's the tile, that's the image, where the image is. And what else have we got here? We've got the images for the pop-up thing. We'll leave those as they are. They're just placeholders, but we'll leave them as they are. If we go to CRUD, CRUD is where we interact with the database. So we create records, update records, get records, those sorts of things, delete records. Before I already started working into files. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go through the files first, then come back to working into them. Description, that's for the short description I told you about with the little pop-up. License, you can select whatever license you want to select. My favorite is Don't Be a Dick license. Dbad. LNURL, this is for all the LNURL stuff, so the LNURL endpoints we're going to be hitting. Manifest, this is the manifest, which we're going to have to change. Migrations, this is where we initially build our database tables and then edit them and add to them later on, or delete them. Models, these are our data models. The README, this is README for the repo tasks. Most extensions, when a payment happens, you want to trigger a thing. So we have these things called listeners in LNbits, and we can have a tag like 8-ball for a payment, which we can add to a payment. And then this listener will just listen for when a payment happens and it has the 8-ball tag. Then it will go into it and do a thing. So it will fetch the ID of the record, and then maybe there's a ticker and it's updating a total every time there's a payment which goes through. Or in this case, I think it does it does the WebSocket update, so it pushes some data to a WebSocket which you could subscribe to front end or wherever. So that's tasks. TOC, terms and conditions, you can edit this as you wish. Views, these are IPA endpoints, and then the other views is for the endpoints for actual pages. So we have our backend page where we create records and things, and then we have our front-end page, our public page, which most extensions have. So that's that page there, and then that's the backend page. And then we have a manifest here just to behave ourselves when it comes to clients which are querying those different URL endpoints. Right, we're going to actually start working into this extension now. So we don't need to change anything here. We don't need to change anything here. We've done this one. CRUD. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to start from the migrations file because the functionality I want for my 8-ball extension is that you pay an LNURL pay and then it returns a random word. So we're already a bit of the way there because we have some LNURL pay stuff in here. We don't need the LNURL withdraw stuff. Get rid of that. LNURL withdraw amount. Get rid of that. LNURL pay amount. We've got that. That's what we want. The LNURL pay field will just, once you've created the record, it will create the LNURL pay to return for you to show in the front end in the QR code. We do want a word list. So we're going to add that. And then also, I should say that for any of you who haven't been to the Paralelni Polis, it's like a mecca. It's one of the most important spaces in Bitcoin, in the history of Bitcoin. And it's even worth traveling to Prague just to come and experience the space. It's a wonderful space. They hold a lot of interesting events on here. So, yeah, please do support Paralelni Polis if you can. I think they've probably even got a support link on their page or something where you can donate some sats to keep the whole thing going. Okay, we don't need the total field. Get rid of that. So we want the ID of a record, correct? a wallet we're going to select to send the funds to, a name for the record, the pay amount, the word list, the LNURL pay. I'm just going to put the word list above. And this should also be not null, I guess, because we want to force people to have a word list. And that's it. Oh, no, OK, so with this file here, you create a database, and then if you want to edit it, add to it, delete it, or do anything like that, you add an update. You don't, once you've created releases and people are using it, don't edit migration, only add to it. It's kind of like a blockchain. You add these little bits to it, okay? Never go backwards. So in the My Extension example, there's an example of adding some database stuff here, but we don't need that, so we're going to get rid of that. Models, here's our data models. I'm just going to copy this down here so I can actually see it. So we don't need the ID. So we have two models, which is one is create 8-ball. The other one is the 8-ball model. So one of them is the data which comes from the form on the front end of the web page. And then the other one is when you go fetch a record and it returns all the stuff. So the ID is created when you create the record back end. So we don't need that in this model at the top here. We do need the wallet. We do need the name. We don't need the total because we're not having a ticker or anything. LNURL pay amount, yes, we want to keep that. Ticker, no, we don't want to keep that. What are word list? We want a word list. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this one here. I'm going to put that there, in fact. Word list. And that's it, because the other LNURL pay field we've got in our database, that's generated backend, so just ignore that too. So I'm just going to copy those to there. Oh, keep the LNURL pay, because that'll be returned. Get rid of these. So wallet name, word list, LNURL pay amount, LNURL pay. I think that is all we need. Yeah, good. Bish bash bosh. The README, this is for the README on the repo. So I'm just going to delete all of this. 8-ball, blah, 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 blah. The starter template for an extension. Create magic 8-balls. Yeah, and obviously we'd write something there. So we've changed models, we've changed migrations. Let's go to the LNURL file, shall we? Oh, the manifest. We need to change the manifest. 8-ball, LNbits. Okay, so the organization this lives on is not LNbits. The organization on GitHub is ArcBTC, which is my personal repos. LNURL, the LNURL file. We have all the LNURL pay stuff and then all the LNURL withdraw stuff down here. This is actually a good example of just LNURLs being built and working raw. It's quite simple, so it's a nice thing to kind of look over if you want to write some LNURL stuff. But LNURL pay and LNURL withdraw, you get an initial endpoint you hit. It returns a JSON saying, send me an invoice for X amount and I'll pay you. That's LNURL withdraw. Or how much do you want to pay? And then you send back an amount. It gives you an invoice, and then you pay the invoice. Right? We want the LNURL pay stuff, but we don't want the withdraw stuff, so we'll get rid of that. License, I'm going to not use MIT, but the debug license. Oh. Okay. Make magic 8-balls that people can. It's a terrible description. Make payment QR codes that people can pay some sats to and receive a random word from a list. Example use cases. What we got? We got a magic 8-ball, of course. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Satoshi quotes. Pay for Satoshi quotes. There we go. CRUD. We're going to have to edit this because we've changed some of the fields in the database. So again, if we go to migrations, I'm going to copy that over to here, just so I've got a reference. Right, so wallet, yes. ID, yes. Name, yes. LNURL pay amount, yes. LNURL withdraw amount, no. So this is creating an 8-ball. So it will have all of that and a word list. So we just need to change that. And we need to make sure we've got the same amount of question marks as we do entries. This is to stop injection attacks, the way we do this. Right, that's all good. Okay, what else have we got? So we've got create 8-ball. We've got get 8-ball. Now there's still some legacy LNURL withdraw stuff here which you don't want, so we're going to delete that. This is when we get the 8-ball, we check to see if the LNURL pay field exists, I guess. Oh no, we don't actually. So when we get it, we create the LNURL pay. Oh, that's cool. And then this is get 8-balls, so this is get all the, all the records. So it's very similar. And again, we don't need that LNURL withdraw stuff, so we're going to delete that. I feel like I'm rambling. Update 8-ball. Oh, that looks good. Lovely. Delete 8-ball. Yeah, good, good, good. We've done the config. We've done the CRUD. Description. I think. Let's have a little look at the Views API. So these are the API endpoints which our front end's going to talk to ask the back end to create records or whatever else. They're all available as in a Swagger format. So if you have LNbits running, if you on the end of your install do docs, you'll open up the Swagger file here, which you can play around with and test stuff with. This is also useful when you're developing an extension. You can test the different endpoints and what they do. So this is why people love using LNbits in their stack, because every time there's a new extension which exists, suddenly the whatever application gets access to that extension. So, for example, in this case, it could be, I don't know, you've built a wallet based on LNbits or a Telegram bot, and now we build this Magic 8-ball extension. You, running LNbits as your stack, you install the Magic 8-ball extension. Now you can offer that functionality to your users. A bit of fun. You could say, one of your endpoints, one of your things could be / Satoshi quote, and then you pay some sats, and it gives you a sort of random Satoshi quote. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, coming up with bad ideas. But yeah, it's there if the Swagger doc's there if you need it. This is all good. I think. So what we're doing, we're getting all the records belonging to a user, getting a single record, updating a record, creating a record, deleting a record, and then what we're doing down here. Oh, we're generating a payment. So this is from the my extension, of course. We don't need any of this. So get rid of it. And we can see here, say, for example, delete record. What's it doing? Okay, so we're hitting, oh, look, we've got this myx thing. This is a bit legacy from the template we're using. So I'm going to go to Edit, Replacing Files, myx. I'm going to change that. I'm actually going to click this little thing as well for match whole. And I'm going to call it, I'm not going to call it 8-ball, I'm going to call it 8B. There we go. Replace. So what are we doing? So we're hitting this endpoint with the ID of one of the records of an 8-ball. And then we've got a couple of checks in the endpoint. So have we got permission? So it requires an admin key of the person who owns the record. Then we're also copying across the 8-ball ID. Then we do get it. So if it has an admin key, then we get the 8-ball and we get the record for the 8-ball. If it doesn't exist, we send back an error. The get 8-ball function is in CRUD because that's, where are we? that is here. So it does that, communicates to the database, brings back the stuff, passes it back to, this API endpoint. And then it's doing the check to see, so if it's not your 8-ball, of course, you shouldn't be able to delete it. And then if it is your 8-ball, and the 8-ball exists, then it does the delete 8-ball function in CRUD, which is down here, and actually deletes the 8-ball from the back end. So there we are. I don't think we need to change anything here. So let's just leave it as it is, I guess. Now, I think we've done enough to push this to the repo, then create a release, and then install the release, and then work from there. So what I'm going to do is go to, I'm using GitKraken to manage my, my Git stuff. So I'm just going to stage all those. I'm going to call it initial, even though it's not the initial. Do you know what I'm going to call it. No, my keyboard doesn't seem to be working. Why doesn't it? Oh, it's up here. Okay. That's good, isn't it? Okay. I was going to call it initial, but there's a very important point here to make, which is when you submit your extension to vetted, if you then create a new release and then submit a new release to vetted, it's kind of important you have, for us, people who are vetting the extension, that there's like quite a clear commit history, just in case we need to look anything up. So so try and give a summary which actually makes sense. So I'm going to say renamed variables, which isn't probably the best thing to summarize it as, but there we are. Commits, push. Now I'm going to go to the repo, and I'm going to create my first release. Exciting stuff. Give it a tag, v001, hit enter, generate release notes, publish release. So now I can go 8-ball, manifest, raw. I can install this from raw. Let me just check something actually. Yeah, good. Sometimes, I don't know why, GitHub can be a bit slow to update its cache or something, and occasionally the file's not updated and it's kind of annoying, but it has this time. If it hadn't updated, it would still say LNbits here for organization, and it wouldn't work, of course. Right, so I've added the manifest. I'm going to save that, go to extensions, have a sip of coffee. Oh, gosh, that's better. Also, Paralelni Polis do the best coffee. And when people say, oh, yeah, this place has the best coffee, Paralelni Polis really does have the best coffee. It tastes delicious. I'm going to have to find out what coffee it is and how they make it. It's a worthwhile thing to do. I'm talking shit, right? Just crack on, Ben. Okay, click on Manage on the 8-ball extension, which now exists. For some reason, we can't see the icon. I think that might be a GitHub caching thing, because, yeah, that usually fixes itself after a while. Install. Ooh, we got an error. Oh, no. Why do we have an error? Let's have a little look. File exists. Aha, so I've already been through this once, and the file already exists in my LNbits install, my local LNbits install for the extension. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Extensions, 8-ball. Nope. Let's try again. Ugh, and another error. What have we got? Please be sure that blah, 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 blah. Doobie-doo-doo. What's going on? Can I import the name get8ball from... So I have a horrible feeling that the way... I've still got... Let's have a little look. I think what I did, which was an error, and it's going to add complexity to this tutorial, which is unnecessary, but maybe someone else has the same problem as well, is I think that I just deleted the extension folder rather than uninstalling the extension from LNbits. So now it's like, we've already got this extension, because in the database it's going to still say it has the extension installed. So, and this is just me going through this tutorial before and then not finishing it and starting again, and yeah. So if we go to the main database, and it's a good excuse for me to show you the database, I suppose, and why I used to access that. I'm using a database browser for SQLite. It's a free and open source SQLite browser, database software. It's very good, actually. So if we go to extensions in here, can I see an 8-ball? Yes, I can. Active 1. Yep, I did exactly what I thought I did. Let's see if I can just delete this record. I wonder what happens. Ooh. Do I need to save? No, I don't need to save. Or write or something. Yeah, write changes. There we go. And no, not save. Just leave it as it is. Wonder if that'll work. Okay. Let's restart the server. And let's try again. That's something you probably won't have to do, but you know, you may make the same mistake I made. I didn't fix it. Cannot import get 8-ball from LNbits CRUD. Why? Let's go and have a look. So CRUD. Oh, you probably noticed this while watching and cringed, but I actually did 3 L's instead of 2 L's when I was doing my replacing files there, so I need to do that again. So if we go for the 3L'd 8-ball and then replace it for the 2L'd 8-ball, good God. Replace all. Okay, so now we're going to have to fixed naming push. So let's go make a new release, shall we? Now, because it's just me developing this extension and using it, I can just make loads of goofy releases. And then I would say before you start sharing it with people, clear up your release history as well, delete the releases, delete the tags, and then start again with the 0.01. Do versions 0.0.2. Did I push those changes? I did push those changes. Yes, I did. Generate release notes. Publish release. There we are. We've got a new release. Refresh the extensions page. All. 8-ball. Version 2. Install. Why? Why am I getting the same error here? That doesn't make any sense. Why didn't that? Oh, I've got the match whole thing selected. Okie dokie. Let's go again. All right. I can hear a dog barking. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a dog barking somewhere in this place. All right, so commit. More name fixes. We're already up to version 0.03. Now, we don't have to keep doing this when we're working our extension. It's really just when you're getting to the point where you can install the extension from a release. And then once that happens, we can then I'll show you, but we won't have to keep making releases, so bear with me and my goofy mistakes. Generate release, publish. Okay. Oh, I might have to refresh the page. I think I'm going to have to refresh the page so it goes and fetches the new release from the repo. When you're the admin, because you can install extensions, sometimes the extension page takes a while to update because it's fetching all the install details. Right, all. Oh dear, what's happened? It's gone away. Why has it gone away? What have I done? Oh, God. Let's have a look at the manifest. 8 ball, good, good, good. And it really should work, initialize 8 ball. Did I push? I did push. And I created 0.03. We've probably got an error. We haven't got an error. Maybe it's because we were mid-release and it got confused. Let's try again. All. Aha! It was that. That's weird. A new thing I never had before. All right, so click on the version, the latest version there. We're going to install it, cross our fingers. Yay! There we are, it works. Now we can enable it for this user, then open it up. And then look at terminal, see if we've got any errors. Yes, we have. Template not found, 8 ball index. Aha. So if we look over here, we'll see that when we did word replace, it didn't replace the names of files, so we need to change those too. But at the moment, we've installed the extension from its repo, which means that it's in LNbits, the install of LNbits extensions. But we're editing the version we cloned of this extension is in my projects file and then 8 ball. So what we're going to go do, and this is why we don't have to keep creating releases, is I'm going to go to that extension and I'm going to delete it. And now I'm going to create a symbolic link from the one I cloned into the extensions folder. Pardon me. Okay. Right, there we are. So that's how you make a symbolic link. So we're going from the project folder to the extension folder, where we just deleted the extension there. All right. So now, when I refresh this, oh yeah, we still haven't actually changed the name of it, have we? So now I can go here, I can go here, rename 8 ball, and the same for here. Ball. Anything else? Oh yeah. Ah, this is why the icon wasn't showing. 8 ball. Good. Now as it's front end, yeah, there we are. We don't have to do restart the server. Only when you make changes to the back end, you need to restart the server. So now when I click on new 8 ball, I get the little dialog which pops up. This is obviously wrong because I haven't done any front-end stuff yet. I'm going to go do that right now. I'm going to go to index.html, and then this is the front-end page. This is the dialog box we want to edit. What have we got? LNUL withdrawal amount, we don't want that. So instead of that, we're going to put word list, because we want to be able to create a word list. And the type is not a number. It's a text area. And then I'm going to move that under the LNUL pay amount thing. So we have name, wallet options, LNUL pay amount, word list. And then we've got some checks here before you can actually click on the create 8-ball button, which we probably need to change or else we won't be able to create a record. So we're going to change this from withdraw amount to word list. We'll just check that exists. I think that's probably it for that. Just refresh. There we are, nice. Now what I want is that when a user comes along here and creates an 8-ball, that it's already got kind of an example batch of text in there. So I'm going to go find the prop for the form dialog, and then the data, which is where the word list thing is, I'm going to go word list, and it's a string with yes, no, no, new line, no, new line. Oh, there we are. Copilot's figured it out for me. Well done, AI. So now I can just press tab, and it's kind of figured out what this extension is about and what I wanted, which is quite remarkable. I'm going to save that. And now when I refresh and I click on new 8-ball, there we are. It's already filled out for me. But as I said, you could put Satoshi quotes in there. That would be pretty cool, or something of that nature. So the funds, we're going to send the funds to this wallet here, and then I'm going to charge people 20 sats, create 8-ball. Oh, crikey, O'Reilly. We get a big error coming back here, so let's have a look at this. What have we got? Word list, not null. But it's not null though, is it? It shouldn't be null. Something's amiss here. Right, so what's happening? Are we parsing the data? So what happens when we click on that create, where are we? Okay, form dialog show, and then when we click on create 8-ball, we're doing submit, and the @submit is send 8-ball data. So if we go to send 8-ball data, we've got there's the data. Oh, here we go. This is wrong, isn't it? So we need to change that. Can I just change that to word list, and then that would magically fix it? I think it probably would. Let's try. Word list. Word list. And this is if it's... Yeah, that should all work. I think that was probably the error. Oh, look, there's some nonsense here from when... So my extension, the my extension template, I actually forked off the point of sale extension, and it actually appears there's a bit of crap still in there, so I have to get rid of that. And it's an important note that if you submit an extension to vetted, that if there's any goofy mistakes like that, then we're less likely to take it seriously. So do go through the code and make sure there's no unwanted code in there you don't need. I think that'll work. Let's try it. Refresh. New 8-ball. Ben's 8-ball. Select wallet. 20 sats. Create 8-ball. Ha! That did work. Oh, that's ugly. So this is from the my extension, so it tallies the total which is being paid. But we don't need that, and we haven't got it in our records. So now, so I can just delete this here, I guess. Yeah, that shouldn't exist when I refresh. Cool. If I click on the QR code thing, right, we still got all these random buttons and stuff which we aren't going to use. So if I go up into my template here, my page, where would that be? Oh, so it's QR, yeah, the QR code dialog. And if you have the QR code is shown, and then we also have a copy button, which we want. Then we've got a separator, and then what happens? Okay, so I think, yeah, this is the buttons, LNUL withdraw, LNUL pay buttons, create invoice buttons there. So we can go ahead and delete that. No Copilot, thank you very much. So now if I refresh, Okay, now we just get the QR code there for the LN URL. If I copy this, go and paste it over here, yep, it's creating an LN URL, nice. Then we have the front end page. Now this front end page is literally just pulling the LN URL pay from the database, and we can go and have a look at the database, in fact. So if we go to data, and then we go to the extension. So every extension's got its own database file, which is kind of cool. And then main table, yep, so we've got word list, good, Ben's 8-ball, good. And then we've got the LN URL pay. Oh, I don't think that needs to exist, actually, because I think we're creating the LN URL pays when we get the LN URL, aren't we? Yes, we are. That's here, isn't it? So we could actually get rid of that as well. Yeah, because when we create the LN URL pays when we just go and fetch an 8-ball. Right, anyway, blah, blah, blah. That works. Let's edit this front end page, shall we, or the public page. So if I go to 8ball.html, which is this one here, and then I just say pay, sats, and get words back. That's terrible. We'll change the title. We should really change this to whatever the name of the whatever the name of the record is. So we wait there. What do we do? So created. Okay, so we're just creating the WebSocket. Then we just have a QR code value and an extension ID. I feel like we should pass the name as well, and then we should just call this whatever I've called my 8-ball. Because like I said, you could use this for other things, so I don't want to put magic 8-ball there. All right, so where do we do this? So if we go to views the page endpoints here, we can see, pardon me, the 8-ball ID. If I copy this, no. Because what we're doing when we hit that public page is we're fetching the 8-ball, but we're only returning a certain amount of data. So, so we can return the name. That will be fine. 8-ball name. And then we could use that then on the front end. Just make a prop. 8-ball name. 8-ball name. Oh look, there we are. Bit of legacy there as well. Let's change that. So replacing files, my extension, replace with 8-ball, I guess. And then for consistency, let's change that. Okay, and then we can use that up here. So where it says public page, I'm pretty sure we can just do that and like that. Let's see. What? Where? Down here? Bish, bash, bosh. Does that need to be there? No, surely not. Oh, silly me. Too many brackets. Still didn't work. I think I need to do that raw thing so we can actually inject the prop in here. Unless, can I just set it as, there's a few ways of doing this. I think in Quasar maybe I could do like a label and then give it that. Would that work? Or it's like content or something. I'm not sure. May require a Google. No, it's not that. I think the other way we can do it is if we go And then it's like these two little percentage things, and we say raw. And then end raw. And then I should have kept things simple, shouldn't I? Not given it any name. Right, refresh. No, that didn't work either. Oh, isn't that frustrating? Well, can I just do that? Or is it double? Maybe it's double curly brackets for raw. Could be, couldn't it? Let's have a little look. Let's ask Copilot, shall we? What's wrong with this? Okay. People name is supposed to be... Ah! I know what it is, I think. I don't think I restarted the server and we changed the back end, didn't we? So we need to restart the server because we're not actually delivering that to the front end. So now if I refresh... No, it's not that. I'll tell you what we could do. Bit of inspect element, that's what we could do. Okay, it's not defining the instance, but reference during render. All right. What about this? Get rid of this. Haha, Ben's 8-ball, it worked. Woohoo! Yeah, so I mean that was good because it showed you like, some debugging and how you can use console, of course, to check your front end. I'll probably just get rid of. No, I'm not going to work into it anymore. I'm just gonna leave as it is. But you get the point. You can see what you can do. So it's working. I created a record. Now, can I make a payment? That's the question. And will it work? No, I know what we need to do. We need to return a random word from the word list, don't we? So if we go to LNURL, and then in LNURL pay here, in my extension, the my extension template, it just returns, I think, the name of the my extension record. But we want to return a random word. Oh, random choice. I think that's the function I need to use. That is totally the function I need to use, And it's, so random dot choice. So we want to pick a random choice from the word list, but first we need to split the word list into by new line. Okay. So we go and get the 8-ball here. And then we're going to take the 8-ball word list. And then, we're going to split it. Well done. Isn't AI clever? And I'm missing a bracket. And we're also not splitting by comma. We're splitting by new line. You could split by comma. We're going to split by new line instead. And then I think that should work. I feel like that should work. Oh, no. I need to import that, don't I? Import random. Right, restart, get my phone, let's test this. So, I'm going to refresh it. And then try scanning it. Problem processing the LNURL. There's no errors. Of course. So LNURL needs to be clear net, and this is running locally, isn't it? So my wallet can't actually ping the endpoint because it's running locally to get the first, request from the back end. So we need to give it a clear net address. The easiest way to do this is I use a service called servio.net, and it's literally a line, an SSH. So it creates a reverse proxy into your computer, and then whatever you want to show, a subdomain. It's a very, very useful service. And what I actually want, and I think we'll have probably at some point, is just in LNbits, we'll have a autonomy out button. You press the autonomy out button, and it will just, we'll run a Servio server, and then it will just do that, and you'll get like whatever .lnbits.com, just a random string. Just for testing and playing around with. And maybe we could charge like 100 sats a day or something for that service. Anyway, I feel like it would be useful. So I'm going to copy link. And then, look at me, shilling Servio, and then it fails utterly miserably. Okay, let's try that again. Copy link. Go on, Servio. Now, I know they have problems with spam and hackers and stuff, Servio, because lots of people use their service, and actually micropayments fix that problem with the reverse proxy services, so we want to see more of those being built. Right, it's working now. I need my ID. Well, to be honest, let's maybe we'll start from scratch, like we're a new user, shall we? So we'll create a wallet, and then go to extensions. And then go to 8-ball. I don't know why the icon's still not showing. Oh yeah, I think maybe that needs to be, that'll fix when you make the release. Okay, so new 8-ball, test, send the money to that wallet, and then it's going to cost 10 sats, create 8-ball, click on the little QR code thingy. There's my Euro Pay. Scan it. This is the moment of truth. I really doubt it's going to work, but let's try it. Yeah, it did work. My reply is no. Cool. So there we are. So you get the success message, which is my reply is no. So you'd ask it a question, and it says my reply is no, or whatever. It just picks a word randomly. Let's try it again. This time I'll ask it a question. Will the rest of this tutorial go as well as it's gone so far? Paying. Come on, Magic 8-ball. Well, I think that's the answer, isn't it? Wallet Satoshi decides to freeze up. Oh no, we do actually have errors. What are errors? Oh no, it did work. It still works though. Very doubtful. Well, there we are. It says very doubtful. Okay, so background task. 8-ball has no. Okay, so the task is breaking. Right, so let's fix that while we're here. Let's do it all properly. Come on. Let's see if we can get the WebSocket working. Right, so it's probably because there's a bunch of crap in here we don't need. Like, we're not updating the 8-ball. We don't want to do that. All we want to do for our task is get the 8-ball and wait there. So if I go to LNbits Pay, is it creating a tag for the payment? Yes, it is. Okay, it's creating a tag for the payment, and it's got the 8-ball ID. Okay, so they're being passed through payments, so that should work. So tasks, well, the listener will pick up that. And then once it's picked that up, it will name amount, payment fee, we don't need that. 8-ball name, 8-ball amount, and then payment checking ID, and some data, 8-ball ID. Okay, I think that should work. Right, let's try that. That should fix our tasks. So what happens is now, thanks to one of our developers, DNI, is if a listener breaks, it dies, and then it restarts. And amazingly, we didn't used to have that, so it would die, and then, no, it wouldn't die. That's what it would do. It would break, and then another listener would be created, and you'd end up with all these broken listeners, or something like that. Anyway, it's a big improvement. Thank you, DNI. Right, let's try again. See if we get the same error. Pay. I think it's Wallet Satoshi, which is being slow. Come on. There we go. Nice. And we don't get any errors now, so that's working. It says no. So I didn't ask it a question, but it says no. So now, if I go to like a WebSocket tester, and then if I put in the WebSocket sorry, my brain's really not working right. So if I copy this, no, not all of it. Just copy that bit there, and then replace that there. So I've already been playing around with this, as you can see. API, and then we use this throughout LNbits, and it's an API v1 WS for WebSocket, and then whatever. That's like an ID to subscribe to the WebSocket. And in this particular case, the ID is the ID of the record. So if I paste that in there and connect, so I'm connected. So now if I make a payment, it should send the data. Let's have a look. Still waiting for the payment to go through. I think it's Wallet Satoshi. Unless, let's have a look. Maybe there's something in our code, in our LNURL code here. We're not doing anything particularly complicated. We're just fetching an 8-ball, and then that's it. So yeah, oh, right there, got an error. Payment. The payment was taking longer than expected. Yes, it was. Let's just restart this. Could also be Servio. I mean, it's a free SSH tunnel. Oh, there we are. It looks like a payment came through. And we actually got... oh, look, we got some data through. There we are. That's nice. So yeah, so the WebSocket did work. It was just running a bit slow. The payment was running a bit slow. Okay, we're running. I think that just... Right now, so if we pay... Are we disconnected quite quickly? There we go. All right, so can we clear this? Yeah, we are. So we're connected to the WebSocket. Let's try again. I think what happened was the WebSocket disconnected because we restarted the server, of course. So if we go to WebSocket here, press that, we should get an output. See now, Wallet Satoshi's being slow again. There we are, we get an output. So that means that you can send anything really over that WebSocket. So if you're, I don't know, running some front-end service or, I don't know, whatever, you can communicate with the back-end of LNbits via a WebSocket, which means that everything's instantaneous. We got probably, I think we probably got that data on this site before the wallet even registered the payment had gone through. So yeah, it's pretty fast. So yeah, it's working. We have a working extension. Next we would, oh look, we've got the icon now. I wonder if the icon's here. Should we make one final release and see if that fixes the icon issue? I feel like we should. Yeah, Servio's been slow. Yeah, no, the icon's still not working. Let's push all our improvements. All working, even WebSockets. And now I'm going to do the thing which I advise to do, which is delete all the unnecessary releases you don't want, and their tags as well. So we can reuse those. Okay, now go to releases. Create new release. Tag v 0.0.1. Fantastic. And now it's just a case, now we have a clean release and it's working, it's just a case of submitting it to the vetted extension repo. So if we go to GitHub, LNbits, vetted extensions, or LNbits / extensions, sorry, then we can add our extension here, but first we need to, so when we create that release, it creates a zip, which is this file here, which we're going to, in fact, right now, we're going to download it. We're going to take a hash of that zip, and we're going to, when we submit our extension to vetted, we're also going to submit the hash. So on the vetted side, the people who support the vetted extension repo, all these great developers who look over these extensions, they're going to check that the hash on their side, and they can be sure that the thing they're vetting is the thing you published. Basically, it's a security thing, right? So now we downloaded it. If I go here, I can't remember what the command is to get a SHA-256 hash, but let's have a look. I think I've got it in my history. Ah, there we go. Oh, I've lost it again. It was there somewhere, wasn't it? There it is. Okay. Fantastic. Right. So SHA-256, and then we downloaded it, didn't we? So I think it's this one, isn't it? Yeah. Plonk that in there. And then we get our actually, yeah. So now what we do is we go to extensions.json in the vetted extension. There are instructions on how to do this, by the way, in vetted extensions. If you go down, it will tell you how to get a hash. I'm not sure it tells you how to do it the SHA-256 way, but I think, yeah, that was it. So we go to extensions, and then I can just click on edit. I think it will create a fork when I commit changes. Ooh. Okay, so if we go here, we'll just copy one of these. Right, so it's, the ID is 8ball, and the GitHub is 8ball arcbtc. 8ball. And then, yeah, runs with the most current LNbits version, short description, magic. Oh, right there. What have I got in my? We need to make sure the descriptions are the same. So if we go to config here, magic 8ball extension. And then the icon. Where's the icon? So if we go, maybe we should change that too. Let's do that as well. Why not? Because it's good because I get to show you. So often the way I make a icon for an extension is I try and use something like material icons, because material icons, an icon library, which are now owned by Google. They used to be independent. But if we go 8ball, they're used everywhere. So visually, well, they haven't got an 8ball icon though. Right, scratch that. 8ball. Yeah, images. Tools, size, oh, no, sorry, color. Should we just be rude and pinch this one here? I think we should. Okay, copy image. And then I'm going to open projects. 8-ball, static image. I'm going to open that with GIMP. And then I'm going to replace it with my plagiarized, copyrighted 8-ball. So this is an important note. Try not to just steal images off the internet because they may be copyrighted and at some point someone might care. That's why I like using material icons if I can for making my extensions, because you're less likely, because it's free open source, so you're less likely to run into that stuff. Okay, export as, yep. There we are. And then if I import changed icon, spelled wrong. And then, where are we? So we're submitting to vetted. So if we go here, and then to image, 8-ball. There we go. Archive. So where is the zip? Actually, I think I can just change that, can't I? Yeah, I can. I can go, I'm overcomplicating it, 0.1. Now, this is a very important point. We're submitting this as a free extension. If you're submitting as a paid extension, we have to do the hash slightly different. We have to do the hash slightly differently. And you'll be asked to make your repo private in order for it to be paid, because otherwise someone could just go along and steal the extension, couldn't they? So you make it private, and then there's a little bit of communication which goes back and forth. So when you submit this as a paid extension, in the PR, just say, I want it to be a paid extension, and I want to charge X amount, and then someone will instruct you on what you need to do next in order for it to become a paid extension. So now we have the hash. There we go. Good, so 8-ball extension. Yep, good. And now when I go to commit changes, it'll create a branch for me. So I'm going to call it 8-ball. Ooh. There might still be an issue with the icon because I haven't actually made a new release after changing the icon. Anyway, we won't bother with that. It would fix properly if we were to have made a new release, but we're not going to. So propose changes. Right, so that's made a PR. Magic 8-ball extension. And what I'm going to say here, draft. I'm going to have this as a draft PR. And I can set it as draft as well, actually, can't I? Convert to draft. Just because I'm doing a workshop, I don't want anyone to go in there and actually start reviewing the thing. If I now go to the different branches, I can go to, what did I call it? The branch? Oh, crikey, forgotten already. It is called Arc BTC patch 2. I should have called that something better. There we are. We live and learn. So now if we go to Arc BTC patch 2, I can go get the manifest for this, and I can test to see if it works. LNbits will throw an error if it doesn't work. So we'll see that in this branch of vetted extensions that my 8-ball extension has been added. So I'm going to, in fact, uninstall the 8-ball extension. Almost finished. I think. I should probably demo paid extensions as well. Right, so I'm going to uninstall this. We've got the nice icon now too, eh? Clean up database, yes, uninstall 8-ball. That's going to, when you clean up database, it also deletes the individual database for each extension, for the extension. I'm going to go to server, I'm going to change the manifest to the branch from the one off the branch for vetted extensions. So I'm going to stick that in there. Save. Go to extensions. And then if we go to all, 8-ball, there it is. Manage. And the icon does work. That's pretty cool. Install. Cannot fetch extension archive file. Why? Extension archive file. Ah, okay. So there's something wrong in my submission going on right there, isn't there? Right, LNbits extensions. Oh, sorry. Pull requests. Ah! 2. Extensions.json. Edit. Okay, scroll down to the bottom. And you'll see as well that when people create new, it's not just about, you can have multiple releases in this vetted extension folder. You can see here we've got multiple releases. So what's wrong with this? 8-ball, tags, archive, 8-ball, blah, blah, blah. That should work, I think. Ah, ha, ha, ha. I see where I'm going wrong. It is, I've got LNbits here. It's ARC BTC, isn't it? Silly me. Commit changes. And we're committing directly to this branch. So I can commit directly. Good. So now, now this is where I've got a horrible, this is a normal user, so I'm not going to be able to install, I need to be the admin, don't I? I got a horrible feeling this is where GitHub does some caching. We might have to wait a few minutes for it to figure it out. If I go to manage capable, it's probably going to give me the same error. It's going to give me the same error, okay. I can't find the archive file because the manifest is still yet to be updated, even though I've just changed it. And we can test that if we go to server here, and then we go get the manifest file link, and then go down. LNbits, yeah, see, it still says LNbits there, whereas it shouldn't, should it? Oh, there it says ArcBTC, see? No, and we are on the correct. But then if I click on raw, yeah, this is the thing which hasn't been updated, GitHub side. So if we refresh it, we might just give it a minute or two. Ah, there we are, changed. Fantastic. Again, you might have that error, and for a while it really confused me, and I was trying to debug. So, and it's not our side, it's GitHub side. Right, so this should work now, I hope. So extensions, all, and then manage 8-ball install. Let's see if we get an error. Cannot fetch extension archive file. Now that might be we need to restart LNbits because we're also making a cache. And in fact, we should probably use inspect element as well. Because it will tell us whether it can't fetch the file or not. Okay, failed to install extension 8-ball. Why? File exists. Of course. I did the symbolic link thing, if you remember. So I actually need to delete that from the extensions folder. Don't worry, the original version of it in my projects folder still exists. I just need to delete it from here. Right, let's try again. Work our way through the errors. Manage. I don't think I need to restart the server, and I think you should just figure it out. There we are, it worked. Let's open it. Cool. So there we are, we managed to create an extension in about an hour, submit it as vetted, just as a pretty normal extension. Of course, like I said, you can submit it as a paid extension. In fact, something I didn't mention, which is worth mentioning, is with paid extensions, you can have different releases. So some might be paid, some might not be paid, and then that would act more like premium features. So you could allow people to have access to your extension for free, and then you create a release with some extra features, and they only pay for that, that release. Anyway, thanks for watching. Good luck making your own extensions. If you're ever in Prague, please do stop along to the Paralelni Polis. It's one of the most important buildings for Bitcoin in the world, and just a great place in general. I would travel to Prague just to come to Paralelni Polis. That's how important a building it is. And as I said, the coffee is great. It's well worth it. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you again. Cheers. Bye.